Welcome back to another episode of the TuneInWithDev Podcast. It's episode 18. These episodes are flying by. I told y'all we're going to have some upgrades. We're going to have new guests. And, the first episode was my brother. The second one, of course, had to be with my lovely, beautiful, luxurious fiance, Jasmine Evans. Appreciate you for stopping by. Even though you live here.
Yes.
But since, I told my brother, a lot of people don't know who I am, and they for sure don't know who you are. Kind of introduce yourself, who you are, what you like to do, what you do for a job, what you like to do for fun, hobbies and things like that.
Okay, so I'm his fiance, Jasmine. I am a nurse by night and by day, technically. I've been doing both shifts, working a lot. For hobbies, I like to shop, play with Milo, our dog. He's right here. I keep looking at him. And hang out with my besties. Love them. Shout out. Yeah.
Okay. And that's my fiance, Jasmine. We are getting married in a little over 1 month, October 4th. So we are excited about that. That is a huge milestone in our relationship. We've been together, 7 years, 6 years, 7 years?
Something like that.
Yeah, but the love of my life, my number one fan in everything that I do. So I kind of want to start off with a two-part question. You've grown up in Abilene, Texas, a predominantly white city, and you being, a mixed child, black child, growing up around people who kind of kind of don't really kind of understand you, quote unquote, in the sense of the struggles that you have to go through. And then kind of just the second part of the question is, what were some of the things that you had to face in the sense of being in that type of environment? Because I know there is a lot of other people who go through the same things in the sense of feeling kind of like a odd man out, or that people don't understand me, or you kind of feel alone in that sense. Not saying you are alone, but in the sense of that.
Yeah, because I feel like growing up, it was always just kind of trying to fit in, but realizing you don't really fit in. It's a whole world in which people don't look like you, they don't have the same hair as you, and so trying to figure that out young. And I grew up in a predominantly white family, well, all white family, shout out, but my mom didn't have the same hair as me, so it's such an interesting thing being a biracial child, and trying to figure that out for everybody. I think for my mom too, I feel like she would be okay with saying that, it's a whole new journey for her, for me, just trying to find your place in the world. And yeah, nobody really looked like me, so it was just me trying to figure it out and just kind of see what worked for me. And I still feel like I was into our relationship. I just started to figure out how that looked for me, and how I could incorporate all my sides and blend it perfectly, because I think that's just finding where you're comfortable and where you're happy is huge. So if that makes sense.
Yeah, because it's basically incorporation of both sides being black and white, and not just sticking to one side being black or white. It's you have to pay homage to both sides, because at the end of the day, that is what makes you who you are. And that's your person, or who you are as a person. So yeah. And sort of transition kind of off of that topic, I have a personal question in a sense. So what would you say your best personality trait is, and what is your worst personality trait? And when I say worst, it could be something that's not bad. It could be something that you feel like you need to work most on, and then probably your best would be something that you need to work the least amount of time on.
Being responsible. I feel like I'm very responsible. I don't like to let people down, so that kind of goes into my probably worst, is just being a people pleaser, perfectionist. That can be good, and then it also can be bad because it can destroy you. Trying to be perfect and do everything right, it's exhausting. And I think that I don't allow myself enough room for error, because I just harbor things, so it eats me alive. So,
and I think that I can kind of add on to that, in the sense of being a perfectionist. That also comes with not allowing a lot of help, and I think that's something that goes along with that, because you feel like it's not perfect unless you do it. So I feel that makes sense.
For sure.
And I feel if she had to answer it, I'm obviously gonna have to answer it too. I feel my best personality trait is I'm able to kind of see through the lens of other people, in a sense of compassion, in a sense of kind of seeing and understanding of why somebody is the way they are, even if it's a bad or good thing, and I can kind of see the good in everybody. So I mean, that may be a good and bad thing at the same time. And then I feel like my bad personality trait or whatever that is I'm not the best at consoling or like emotions, and I think that had to kind of do with like like a strong upbringing of not really showing affection and stuff like that. Is more so like get it done, get it done, get it done, and just moving fast, like checking off a box of the objectives that I need to do, and it wasn't really much of like that. But there's no wrong, in a sense of no wrong way of looking at that or going about it. So now, for the first time ever, we're introducing a new topic. It's brought to you by, it's not brought to you by anything yet, but hopefully in the future we have somebody, to have that brought to you by. It's called This or That. So I'm going to ask you a couple questions. It's a rapid fire, this or that. You pick one of the answers, and this is for the first time she's hearing these questions. So let's see what these answers are. Hot or cold?
Ooh, cold.
Italian food or Mexican food?
Italian.
Strawberry margarita or sangria?
Ooh, that's hard. Strawberry margarita.
Okay, now this one is a collab album between two artists.
Oh gosh.
SZA and Quavo or Drake and Megan Thee Stallion?
What?
Yeah.
Drake and Meg. Even though that would never work, but okay. I love my girl SZA though.
Okay, so I know we said it's rapid fire, but explain your reasoning behind that answer.
Because I like both of those artists more than I would ever want to hear Quavo with my girl SZA. SZA would need someone better to be brought to
And
the
see,
table.
no, but and it was funny because it took me a minute to figure out this question because I had SZA and I kept adding people. I think I had Kodak Black at first, but I was like, you actually
See,
like
I
Kodak.
would've
You would have
liked-
picked that. I was like, I was trying to figure out something like that
you
made
would,
it,
yeah,
that made it like harder.
yeah, because
So,
Quavo's crazy.
yeah, because I know you like Meg and you like Drake, but not as much. I know you really
Yeah.
love SZA, so I had to kind of figure out. And the last one, Cane's or Arby's?
Bro, that's foul. Cane's, but like Cane's is so overrated.
I mean, it's not that close to be sitting here debating on if you're gonna choose Cane's or Arby's.
I know Arby's is like, yeah, you need to go to jail immediately.
Okay, I guess now we're done with that section, the new section of this or that. But it's been a long, drawn out question that's been on social media and ravaging through TikTok, Instagram, and all the social media relationships. Do you believe in 50-50 relationships?
I feel like it depends on how you interpret 50-50. I feel like yes, but some people are like 100-100, 50-50. Like, I don't know. I feel like it's like about showing up and like being the best version of yourself and contributing as much as you can and like what you decide on as a couple. Like, if I expect something from someone, I would expect them to keep showing up as that person, that individual. But yeah, so yes, I agree. I think it's 50-50 some days.
So what about like 50-50 like financially, in the sense of like splitting bills, splitting food, splitting things like that? Because a lot of times, especially in the society nowadays, there's been this precedent that's been pushed in the sense of straight out of high school, freshman in college, and you're in a relationship, and there are some people who are preaching that a man should be paying for everything, and it's like I feel like at that point it's like y'all are both still like kind of teenagers, childs, and like you don't have money to like blow like that in a sense. So I think a 50-50 relationship is like a practical thing in that scenario. And even getting into like your later 20s, until you have like an established like high paying job, and then like all your debt is gone and all that things like that, then I think that financial burden can be placed more solely on like the male figure, or the not even just the male figure, just the higher earner. But I mean, I personally believe in 50-50 or whatever it needs to be, because at the end of the day, it's never going to be 50-50. Somebody's going to pay for the dinner, or I can pay for the groceries. You can pay for the water bill. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's just a lot of different expectations and different scenarios that can work out in.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I guess with the 50-50, do you believe that there's, with financial responsibility, do you think that's a thing?
Financially, I feel like, again, like whatever you get into a relationship with, if you're dating someone, you need to put that on the table like ASAP. Be like, this is what I'm looking for, and if that person's not able to meet that, then like you should like move from there. Versus like being with someone like, so we grew up together, so I feel like no, I'm not gonna expect you to like cover everything and like do all that thing from the jump. Like we just graduated like college grads. I think when people put that like unrealistic pressure on their partner, they're putting it on themselves as well, because most likely you're not going to find someone like that. Like not everybody's just going to happen upon a millionaire or even like a six-figure man.
Especially in this, this
Society
climate and
or economy,
and
yeah.
where we're in economy that we're in,
Yeah.
you know,
It's just
rent
hard.
is $2,000 just for a 1-2 bedroom, or I mean actually a 1 bedroom. But I mean, and I'm not even gonna just say it's just like women who want that. There's also bummy men who, who don't have a job and are taken care of by like their girl, their mom still, and it's just like,
That's the exception.
yeah. I mean, but I mean, like being in a relationship, I feel like it should be a mutualistic and not a parasitic relationship,
Mm-hmm.
because I think it needs to be mutually beneficial. Because if somebody has, especially like if a man or woman has like dreams or aspirations to be in something bigger than they are, and it's just like you have to be along for that ride, because there's
Right.
people who are successful now who took time to get to there. But I mean, yeah, there's men and women who both kind of can pray, or it's like you don't want a partner. It sounds like you want a dad or you want a
Someone,
mom,
yeah,
because
like
it's
just a
like,
provider.
yeah.
And unless you're going into that like 100% knowing that and being transparent with the person, like I feel like you're just gonna set yourself up for failure, because those people, I can't speak for everybody, but like the situations I've seen with that, like it's just not, there's no longevity in it. Like, and there's no like wholesomeness in it. Like there is a part of relationship is being like there emotionally. So like going back to the 50-50, I think half of that is also emotional. Like what are you providing to the person, like is
Hmm.
huge. So setting that boundary or that standard for your relationship and whatever works the best for you.
I know that I started therapy, probably like 6-7 months ago, and I know you recently started. I mean, for the people out there who don't know anything about therapy, or thinking about it, or on the fence about it, or kind of questioning, like, man, should I do it or not, or am I going to be looked at as crazy? Like, what is like your initial thoughts, or like how has therapy even helped since actually being in therapy?
Tremendously. And I tell this to everybody, like all my friends, all my people, like nobody, like I feel like it's hard just like take the jump, and or like financially, like that's a whole nother topic, but like just taking the jump to start it, because like we grew up kind of coming from that generation of being like therapies for people who are crazy and insane, and what problems do you really have, like everything's fine, don't be sensitive. But I think like if more people sat down and really like talked about their actions and who they are behaviorally, yeah, I can't say that word, but you would find out so much about yourself and like how you view life and how to make it easier for you. Like your relationships will thrive, your life, period. I feel like it just makes everything make so much more sense and like just come together if you're willing to put in the effort, because
Yeah,
that's
and I
half
feel
the
like a
battle.
lot of, it goes back to like the upbringing of like who you are. As it could be either like a black household, or like a being a man. It's like a lot of times you're told, like suck it up, like you're a man. And it's like the leading cause of suicide is men. And that's like, that kind of goes together. It's like a thing that we put all like the weight of the world on our shoulders, and we don't talk to people. And I think that a lot of men and women out there can benefit from therapy. And I know she did say financially, but I mean, a lot of times if you have health insurance through your job, if you have insurance, or a lot of times it can be cheaper than what you think it can be. And that's why I've spoken about it on the podcast before. I pay $25. She pays like 50, but what I mean, it's just like a different amount that you can be paying, and it's not that much that you really think, because you spend $25 going to get some drinks at a bar, Texas Roadhouse, wherever you go, but
Yeah.
you can spend money on stupider stuff.
I feel like it's definitely an investment. Like before, I would be like, "Oh my gosh, I don't have enough money for that. Like we gotta use it for this and this." And then you like start going, and you're like, "Oh no, like I should have been prioritizing that into the budget. Like it's worth prioritizing 25, $50 or however much, even if it's one session a month. It's gonna change more than you can ever think that it will. Like it changes so much. So you just have to be like mentally ready to like make the change.
And going off that topic, how do you feel like communication plays in the well-being of like of a relationship? It can be you know, as far as like a romantic relationship, a relationship with your parents, your friends, your coworkers? Like, how do you think communication plays a factor in those things?
Like it's huge. Like if everybody could communicate well, like there would be so many less problems and like issues with people. Like I feel like, but of course, communication's a two-way lane. So if you're not talking to someone that's receptive and or wanting to be an active listener and all the things that are vital to having a successful relationship, you're not going to set yourself up for success, or that relationship's not going to succeed. So it has to be like you have to be willing to want to listen to me, and I have to be willing to want to listen to you and really hear you, and then communicate it properly, tone, all the things that I'm learning about in therapy. I feel like it's huge, especially in like intimate relationships, because you're so like open with your partner that sometimes you just like say something and you're like, wow, like I'm trying to like reroute my brain and be like, just because that's like my best friend, my person, you can't just like say whatever you want to say. And sometimes with other people that aren't partners, we're human, but it definitely is just a two-way lane and making sure you show up correctly.
And I agree 100%. But thank y'all. Thank y'all. Thank y'all. This is episode 18 of the TuneInWithDev Podcast. If you have any questions or if you'd like to see any guests on here, any recommendations, any topics, let me know. Thank you, Jazz, for coming. You know you live here, but thank you for doing this, sitting down, taking the time out of your day. Thank you, Milo. And I just want to say thank y'all and then peace.
Good job, Queen.